Now, television and cooking on TV is something that most of you like, and I know that recently we launched a cooking studio in the Durban office, and the response to that has been phenomenal. So I decided to invite Abidah Dixon Mohamed here. She's the host of the Prue Show, and you'll find that on DSTV and a few other channels. I know that she goes out to people's homes to find out about their cooking. She cooks with them, and people love that kind of thing. We're going to find out more when we come back to you right now. Welcome back. So Abidah Dixon Mohamed is here. We're talking about her cooking show, and that's the Prue Show on DSTV. Abidah, welcome to the show. You know, I always say when I meet people from television that there are people behind the camera, and there are people, and there are layers of personality, history, and all of that that makes up the people that we see on television. Many times people that watch shows feel that what they see on TV is all that they get, but it's not that way.
No, definitely.
There's much more. So we're going to talk about Prue, the show on DSTV that you're doing. It's going on for 2 years. But before we get there, I want to talk about Abidah Dixon Mohamed, your life's story and the inspiration behind your life. Where did it all start?
Well, I have 5 children and I have 6 grandchildren.
With 5 children.
Let me just throw that in so we have that out of the way. Then I decided now it's time for me, all right? And I took it on and I told my children, listen, you had your chance. Couldn't did what I wanted to do when I was younger. So now it is my time.
It's interesting that you say that. Sorry, just to interject. It's very interesting that you say that, because most people would start looking at television at their younger days, and then when the children come and stuff like that, it's all settling down kind of and getting retired. But you decided after children, I need to go to television.
Definitely, because you know, in our time there wasn't time for us, or let's just say due to apartheid perhaps we couldn't done that.
But you had this desire.
Yes, definitely. Not maybe first for television, but I started out in radio, and then from radio I moved on to TV. And I must say my children supported me, including my my husband. Up till today, he's more excited for me than myself. Let's just say there's a morning or a day where I'm now not in the mood to stand up to go to whatever I'm supposed to go to, and then he will say, stand up, and then he will just embrace me and said, let's go, this is your thingy, so do it.
Of course, so you're some form of inspiration, motivation, and a driving force behind you.
Definitely, definitely. You will keep me on my toes. I can't forget about anything.
Of course. So if you're looking at Abidah, we see you on the show, sort of bubbly, talking to people in the kitchens, finding out about how to make things, how to do things, and then also talking a bit about their lives and what drives them. But if we look at you as a personality and a person that's now sort of growing up in the media, and I'm saying the word growing up deliberately, how do you define yourself? If you say, some people say, generally people say, well, I'm honest, I do this kind of thing, I do that kind of thing, and my personality is like this, that, and the other. How do you define yourself?
Well, I will define myself as a lot of stuff. Because there's a time where I will be the teacher, I will be the mother, I will be the grandmother, I will be the mall lady, as they say, and then there will just be the time where I want to be me. If I say about me, then I want to, especially when we have the youngsters of today, that some parents are struggling with. So instead of where that child is not listening to the parent perhaps, you will listen to me, because I will have maybe a different approach to the child as the parent will have.
And a different perspective. So you see that mother figure in yourself, that must have come from you perhaps having a strong mother figure in your life. They say that the best role model in your life is the same-sex parent. So that means your mother might have been somebody that was a role model to you.
No, to be honest with you, I didn't have a mother and a father. I grew up by other people.
That's interesting. It's very interesting you're saying that, and I'll tell you what my thoughts about this is before you go on. My thoughts about this is that this is the normal thing where they say that, you know, the same-sex parent is the role model, and if that didn't happen, then it's very interesting that you have maybe found a way of filling that gap.
Definitely.
So tell us about that journey.
To be honest, I grew up by a lot of people, different cultures, different colors. I grew up in the white area. Due to apartheid, couldn't be with my mother and father, and we're not even going to go in there and so on. But grew up by a lot of people. Grew up in a white side area, colored area, black area. And I must say, to grow up with all those different kinds of cultures and people, to me it was really great. And as you know, some people, they don't.
Miss them?
Of course, but as a small child, you grow up, then you don't really get that as to know who's my mother and who's, because the love that you get by some people takes actually that little things away. And to be honest with you, most of the time I grew up by my auntie, my mother's sister. Then I actually thought my auntie was my mother, and my mother was my auntie.
So that helped to soften the blow when you eventually found out.
My auntie made me sit down when I think I was a certain age, and she said, listen.
How did you do that? I'm trying to just imagine that all.
But she was totally honest and open with me to tell me in the beginning. No, because I knew she wasn't my mother, but she never made me feel that she's not my mother. But she will always say, I'm not your mother. And then I was like, okay, but not in a bad way, just to remind me not to be like or get too attached to her as a mother, because she knows then I have a mother.
Did you, so you accepted that at the time, and you felt that you'll move on and you accepted it?
I did.
Interesting.
And I think I was about, let's say a young girl, 15, 16. And then my auntie said, I think it's time for you to stand on your own feet now. And listen, this is our history where Islam is concerned. And this is the history from the non-Islamic point of view.
Yes.
And why they went to Christianity.
Yes,
but now I give it to you now, yeah, and I want you to choose. And I want you to tell me now which way you want to go. You want to go with me to church? Or you want me to get the imam to take you on the road to Islam?
Oh, so you really hit a crossroad.
Yes, and then
the choice.
I was like, now what? Huh? But just suddenly it came to my mind, and I said, okay, auntie, if you give me that choice, then I have no knowledge about Islam, but then I will go with Islam.
Yes.
And I can say up till today, my family are so supportive of me.
Okay.
So supportive of me.
Okay.
And alhamdulillah, I embraced Islam when I was 16. Yeah, 16. And so the journey just went on for Islam and so on and so on. But up till today,
I never knew that. I know you for a while, but I never knew that. It's a very inspiring story. Yeah, very interesting. Because I suppose that sometimes you look at people and you never know where they've come from, their experiences, until they sit down and they say, listen, I want to tell you something. And then you learn something new. But Abidah, it's been a journey. And so you go on and you meet, I know I met your husband Ibrahim, and you meet him, and the children comes and life continues going. Some of the good things in your early days of marriage, tell us about it.
Well, the good things I will say is definitely my husband. Because I married him, let's say we got married with children. So I had children, he had children, and that is a little bit...
Can be challenging sometimes.
Exactly. But the boys, especially he had 2 boys, I have a boy and a girl. And now up till today we have only 1 child together, and she's almost 21. But you will never ever say that the 4 of the children were like stepchildren.
Yes.
Because I'm an open-minded person, and they were small when we got married. Muhsin was 7, Ismail was 12 or 11, and they didn't have a mother. So obviously we got married actually on an arranged marriage. Yes. And in a week's time we got married, and I was like, what? I don't know this man. But okay, due to for the children's sake and so on, we can give it a try. Yes. Because the 2 of us had our life already. Okay. So the children are small, they need it.
So you're saying that the love component might not have been there yet, but the logical reasons for getting married was there. So this would have worked out.
Definitely. And you know, as Islam, so you first get married and then the love comes.
And it happened?
Exactly. When nowadays you will first get the love, then the marriage, and now not too long in the marriage, then the love is gone. So it basically makes sense there. But up till today, they are married. They are fathers of their own, and especially the two boys, Ismail and Muhsin, you will never ever say that I'm not their mother. And therefore I love them very much.
I can see that, because I can see when you're speaking, I see that emotion coming forward. That you, is there anything that, if you must look back in your life today, is there anything that you change?
Well, definitely, if you're young, then there is certain stuff that you are doing wrong, especially when you started with the wrong friends. Well, the only thing that I would have changed is that maybe I wouldn't have children before I got married. Or let's just say if I knew the deen of Islam before, then maybe I wouldn't have children at that time. But as you say, you can't change them and you can't wish them away. They are there and you just need to deal with it. And alhamdulillah, today I have children that are in the deen, that are hafiz and things like that. And don't worry, now and then I still need to fight with one or two. Did you make salah? Did you take a dua? Things like that. But then again, I can still say, shukr for Allah. I might maybe ask one or two of that. But then I can say, shukr for Allah, I don't have gangsters for children. I don't have druggies for children. But that doesn't mean I mustn't care about somebody else's child that does that. Because as a mother, I don't think you want to see that. Or you can just imagine what some parents have to go through. So that's why my love for children, and it doesn't matter how old the child is. But if I can just give that motherly love to any child that needs it, I will do it every day.
But we're going to go on a break. I know and I see that role model in you. I know that when we look at people on television, we need to see those role models. And we're going to talk about Prue and the role model in you just after the break. Abidah Dixon Mohamed, the host of the Prue TV show on DSTV, and she has come to chat to me about her life and the show and where it's at and where it's going. When we come back, we're going to talk about the show and see the role model in Abidah. Welcome back. We're talking to Abidah Dixon Mohamed, and she's the host of the Prue show on DSTV. Before the break, she chatted to me about her life story, an interesting one, challenging one, what might have changed, what didn't change, the children and the gratefulness that she finds herself in today, and the role model. And it's important that when we look at people on television, in whichever capacity we look at them, that we see and know that they have a sound background and a sound positioning in society, because they form the role models that we see today, and Abidah is one of them. Abidah, welcome back. So before the break, we spoke about your history and all of that, and so you made that transition, and it was your dream, as you said, to do the TV show and be on TV, and there you are.
Well, to be honest with you, I used to watch 3 Talk with Nolene. I used to watch her, and I just look at this lady and I said, I would love to have my own show, because she was like really inspiration to me. And you know, when the TV show came along, it is just how Allah wanted me to do that. Because I'm in the radio, the guy from the TV came, they put it on the radio as a community thing and so on. And luckily for me, I was the sound person that day, and I could have heard everything. And they were looking for volunteers, and I said, oh yes, this is my chance.
So you heard in the studio from the technical room what was going on in the studio.
And when the show was done, I called him and I asked, can I volunteer? And he said, oh yes, definitely. And I went to, after I think a day or two, went there and started to volunteer and volunteer and volunteer. And then I got, as I said, my own talk show. So my talk show was like, I was my own producer, get whoever I can to talk about exactly what you are doing now. I used to talk about people's lives and so on and so on. But because I'm more Afrikaans than English, my show is in Afrikaans. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that I can speak a little bit English today. But that is, the show is Afrikaans. And then I would have done like 3 talk shows a month, and then the last one I will do a cooking show. And then I think so for about 7 years along the line. Why must I do 3 talk and 1 cooking? Why don't I rather combine the two and make it a talk cooking show? So then I come up with a name as Pru. And why I actually started in the whole Pru thing is because, you know what, isn't always that our community get the chance to be on TV. You know, you must go through a whole lot of stuff to get into any TV. So I thought, no man, I can do this for our community. And not for our Muslim community, for any of our community. Doesn't matter which culture you're coming from and so on.
But you were looking at the more previously disadvantaged approach to that and television. I know that just for the sake of our viewers, the word Pru, P-R-O-E, if that's the way it's spelled, in Afrikaans means taste. So for everyone watching the show through Africa and don't understand Afrikaans, that's what it actually means.
So I decided that I'm going to go into the community. First season actually of the show was in studio. So we built our own studio. Sometimes I had a different set in the background with different people. The first 13 episodes in studio. And then we were done with the first season. Then I decided, I want to take this outside.
So this is taking it outside, into people's homes, getting the real environment.
In the kitchen.
But sometimes when I'm in studio too long, I feel I want to go outside again because it's getting boring in studio. So I know exactly what you're referring to.
And so basically I will go out to the people's houses doing, and let's just say I make an example, I come to you, I approach you, Faizal, I want you to do for me a cooking show. I will then basically give you the guidelines, what you can cook for me, what you can't cook for me, and the duration of the show. Let's just say you decide you want to cook butter chicken. Now I want to know then by the end of the day, what is the story of your butter chicken? Why really butter chicken? And now, I mean, butter chicken is butter chicken. You just do this and that and finish. Now what makes your butter chicken different to any other butter chicken?
You know I'm a butter chicken connoisseur. I promise you, I check out butter chicken everywhere. And I know which ones work and which don't work. But I like the ones that are specifically more yellow in color.
Okay.
I don't like the reddish color. When it's yellow and it's lots of, I don't know what's in there, buttermilk or something? No?
Yeah, they do sometimes
Yeah,
they do so.
then I like it, yes.
Okay, all right. So that is just basically it. You will give me a story about your dish. And then I have like 8-minute one-on-one, like we are sitting here. Then I want to know what is happening in your life for that 8 minutes from the morning until the night. What are you doing during the day? And in the last 2 minutes, we will sit at the table and we will taste now your, let's say, your butter chicken. And I will give the viewers overall.
Now, do you give them a real overall perspective, or is something tasting horrible? You're not going to say it tastes horrible.
No, definitely not, but I must be honest with
Did
you,
it ever
because
happen?
it
never happened.
It never happened because people because people can cook. That is just the thing, and it isn't.
It's not, if you must come to me, I promise you, it's going to be the first time. You're going to say, hey, this is not working. You know what I'm saying?
Because most of the people that I go to, they can cook. That is just the thing. Especially our elderly titties and stuff, you know, almost they can make like a food and so on.
So your focus to cooking is not the chefs and the culinary people. It's more the home cooking, what people are doing every day, and this one makes her butter chicken like that, and she makes her curry like that.
Yeah, you know what makes Peru actually like so popular nowadays is because you are a normal community person. You were never on TV, so obviously you're excited, your whole family, whatever. And there is where the show is going. Instead of where you are let's say a name brand chef, people know you already.
Yes,
you get what I'm saying? So isn't everybody that really want to go and watch you because I see that man every day. But you as the community person that is not on TV every day, people want to go see. Now that is actually what makes Pro growing.
Correct. So now that the show is growing, and it has been growing, where do you see it going in the future? What's your plans? Are you looking at any format changes or anything like that?
Definitely, I would love to change the format, but not now. I first want to give a nice rundown to the show so that people can first get used to the show instead of chopping chains every time. And I mean, too many chopping changes is also not, for me personally, too good. So let people first get used to the one set and how it's been run until I decide to change.
What is your most funniest moment on set? It must be something.
Definitely. When I was busy cooking with somebody, and while we're almost done, the person who cooked for me softly in my ear say, "Oh my word, I forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer."
Oh. That's hectic. And
That was like funny. And then we had to cut, and the person didn't know what to do. The person panicked.
Yes.
And I said, don't worry. Calm down.
yeah.
Don't worry. Just give the chicken, yeah. And we did put it like in the pan. Let it just like braise on its own. Just rinse it quickly off under the tap. Put it in the pan. Let it braise with its own water, and everything was already in there. And then we just waited for a while until everything was like loosened, and then we just put the cameras on.
Oh.
And it was like,
And I
and you will
noticed
never ever see that.
drama that was unfolding. You know, the funny thing about cooking is that people, like I used to do this thing when I did Ramadan at 4 back in the day with SABC and E. So we used to do that little cooking piece. I could never cook any of those things. I was just there to see what was going on. But people stopped me every day
Yes.
saying, how much salt do you put in there? And I would ask, like, what is salt now? Is it, which one is it? So I do that deliberately, you know. But the point is that the funny thing is they used to ask me always was, how come you think that everything tastes good? Because so that means when you get home, does everything taste good that your mother makes? Because on every show you say it tastes good. But they didn't probably understand the entertainment value and all of that, that it needs to kind of be good for TV. I can't say after the show, and this is what, that's why I put you in that corner, oh, this is just absolutely horrible. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
Definitely not.
So Abidah, we looked at your journey. It's a fulfilling life. It's a busy life. It's the TV show. It's the development of the show. It's realizing a dream, and I think that's where you got to. And now you only have one sector left, and that's you can't have your past. It's done. The present is happening, and you've got the future coming. But through that, there are people that support you, and you've mentioned them. But what's your message to them? Because I know that you're surrounded by people that you are thinking about that says, you know, if these people were not in my life, I would not be able to do what I do. Who are those people, and what's your message to them?
Well, definitely it will always be my husband and my children.
Why did I know that?
Yeah, because my husband is the first one. My children, not that
And
much.
this is the one from the arranged marriage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just
You know why I say not my children so much? Because let's just say, for example, Pro is playing now. Now it's holiday, everybody's at home, Pro is on. The one son will look, and the one son, he will just say, oh, okay, there he walks out. The other one will come and say, why do you put it on that channel? And there he goes. Rashida will come, and then Rashida will say, oh, kyk vir Abidah.
Yeah.
And there she will. The baby, absolutely a no-no. She can't take it to see me on TV.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't
It's
know.
strange, because my mother makes sure that she watches every night
No,
and doesn't
sis.
miss an episode.
It is almost like she gets a fit or something, and she will say, please just put that TV over. Mommy,
she's tired of seeing you.
Mommy, why are you
much
doing this? Why? Then I said, why are you going so on, my child? And I said, no, but no. I said, no, you know what? I first had time for you, so now I had time for myself.
Yes.
So don't worry, if you don't want to watch it, put on something else. I didn't put a TV on there.
Yeah.
So you don't need
And
that.
listen, it's only one viewer you're losing. Out of thousands of people, I really don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? No, but the thing is, that's an interesting thing. And I'm just want to use that to reflect on something, if you don't mind. On a bench, father and son sitting there, having a conversation, and the father starts dropping lots of food. As he's eating, the food's all dropping on his clothing and stuff like that, and his clothing is really messed up. And right after that, when they got up, a couple of people sitting around observed the son grabbing some tissue papers, cleaning his father up meticulously, and all the food that's sitting on the beard or wherever it was. And they get up and they walk, and one of the guys sitting over the road stopped the son and said, I'm very surprised you did that. And the son then related the answer to him, and that was that, because this guy told him, I would have been a bit upset if my father did that and was missing all over the show. I don't have patience for that kind of thing, you know. And interesting, the response from the son was that he recalls all the time that his father did this for him when he was a child. And so obviously, all of us has been through that journey. We've been through it. We don't realize that our parents has cleaned us up. They have done all those things. So what? How do you give back? And the time will come. Do you know what I'm saying? So sorry, I'm just reflecting on that at the same time. Abidah, your message to the youth out there that want to be the next Abidah Dixon Mohamed.
To be honest with you, that is actually why I decided to do this as well. Because you know, our youngsters of today, it is almost like they have the whole world in their hands. But some of them decide rather to go as a gangster, drugs, and all of those things, where they have things much easier than you and I had in our days. So to me is where, if they look at me, then they must ask or tell themselves. But if that lady, some will say old lady, if she can do it, why can't I do it? So I'm just thinking that in that sense, I want to be there so that I can see they can do whatever they want to do, or they can be whatever they want to be, because that's easy.
You can do what you need to do, and you can be whoever you want to be. Nobody can stand in your way. Thank you, Abidah. Thank you for coming on the show. Abidah Dixon Mohamed, and she's the host of Pru on DSTV, the Afrikaans show that's a cooking show, and they pop around in people's houses and follow their life journeys and see what they cook. Before we went to the break, if some of you joined us for the entire show, we spoke about Abidah's inspirational journey, some of the crossroads in her life and what has determined what she does today. And we ended the show looking at some of her inspiration and role modeling. Until next time, hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.